Wow. Incredible. Incredible. We are live now, only on YouTube. Wow. What, what in the heck is going on? Let's see. Let's see who's able to follow over here. I was able to go make a couple of posts. Let's see here. I'm trying to watch who might be coming over here, and then I'll explain or try to explain what the heck is going on here as soon as I can. All right. Looks like we've got Katie and Ken. Ken made it over. Good. And I'm still waiting on Lori. Oh, my goodness. Can everybody hear me okay? See me okay anyway? I know. Okay, Lori's there. Good. Wow. This is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hello, Toby, cousin. We'll see if some more folks are able to make it over here to YouTube. And I was excited to say that I'm finally back on Facebook. After 2 weeks, I had been locked out of Facebook. And just the most miserable thing, you kind of feel like you were stolen from. You know how it feels when somebody steals something from you? That's what it felt like. And that was just the beginning. The rest is just like you feel abandoned by this, mega company that, has billion users or whatever, but you can't get any help from a human. And so you go in this vicious circle, hoping that you're doing the right things that they describe on their help page and all this. What an absolute mess. And so I finally, after 2 weeks, get back into my account. Just a few hours ago, you saw me posting away already today. So I'm thinking everything's good. I go in, I modify some of my security parameters that I wish I had done before, adding some other layers of protection. And so that in the event I ever get locked out again, I've got these other mechanisms at my disposal. I did not have those last time. Anyway, I'm happy. I'm excited to be finally back and thinking I'm in good shape. And I go set up the broadcast here, and it goes to, my Facebook page. It goes to Speaking of Zane Facebook page, and it goes to my YouTube channel. And as soon as I get ready to hit broadcast, I get another notice from Facebook. I'm locked out of my account. Locked out. And I'm like, you have absolutely got to be kidding me. How is that true? And it was the same message before. We suspect, have suspicious activity or whatever. So I sent the note over to Lori where to find me on YouTube so she could put it on the page. And while she's doing that, I'm thinking, well, let me try to see if I can unlock Facebook again. So it has me go through a process where I have to identify some of my Facebook friends, 5 of them. I have to identify their faces. And sure enough, I did that, and then boom, I'm back in Facebook again. But then my Facebook, I can't access Facebook for the broadcast. I use a whole nother program called StreamYard, and it allows me to broadcast to multiple destinations. I think I just have to close it and open it back up. But I am back on Facebook after a little blip, and maybe those little security things I did when I got back on were helpful in getting me, very quickly to unlock. But wow, what a pain. I hope none of you ever get hacked on Facebook or any of your online accounts or get locked out. It's miserable. I missed, keeping up with you guys on the Facebook group, and I missed posting my food pictures. And I tell you what, we've for all the negative that's on social media, us positive people turn it into a positive thing. And it's a primary way that we stay in touch with people that we know and love and have worked with and served with and all of those things. And when you lose it, it's like, wow. But it looks like I'm back, just not for this broadcast. So stick around here on YouTube and we'll see how things go. Once I break this broadcast down, I'll try to get it back onto Facebook for next week. But wow, what a pain in the patootie for sure. All right, Matt's in there, Ken's in there, Toby's in there, Lori's in there. If anybody else is in there, put something in the chat. Katie's in there, and let us know that you are there and that you can see us. And we will, in spite of the technology gods, we'll have a good Speaking of Zane tonight, I hope. I think this might be all due to the Taliban, honestly. I think if you want to know the God's honest truth. But anywho, by Taliban, I mean our own government. Never mind, let's don't get political. But I am going to talk a little bit about my opinion here in a minute. Because last week, for Speaking of Zane, if you remember, we had to do just YouTube only and no Facebook. And I was in the middle of the whole situation with Hannah and the whole situation with my sump pump and all these things. And we were able to finally get, we had to skip a week, didn't we, Lori? Has it been that long? We had to skip a week, I think, totally. And then we got back around, and then I had to broadcast only on YouTube. That's what it was. And anyway, I had totally been out of touch with, somebody else. Okay, that must be Jim. Jim, I can't tell by the name there. Or is that Daryl? My HME, My Hemi. Okay, My Hemi. That's Daryl. Daryl has a 69 Road Runner. That's Daryl. Hey, Daryl, good to see you or hear you or see you or not see you. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's you. Good to have you in there. Okay, what was I saying? So last week, these last couple of weeks have just gone by in a blur with everything going on around here. And I had the opportunity to last Sunday night because it was happening, but I was so out of touch. I had not watched anything on television, on the news. Of course, I wasn't messing around on Facebook or any other online news or anything like that. So I was totally out of touch on what the heck was going on in Afghanistan. And if you were wondering why I didn't even bring it up last week, I apologize. I was just so out of touch and really didn't even start to see what was going on till Monday, I think. And I've been appalled every minute since. Now, there's enough blame to go around, that's for sure, from the very start to now. The trouble I have is nobody's man enough to step up and take any of the blame. Everybody wants to blame everybody else. There's plenty of blame to go around. And if the man right now is saying that he's not to blame for doing what just happened, God help him, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. How can you justify? We have 2,500 people there sort of holding things together while we do some graceful sort of exit that's been underway for some time now. And you do it in such a fashion that now it dictates you've got over 8,000 in there to try to clean up the mess. So you went from 2,500 to 8,000 and a shitty situation with thousands of Americans behind enemy lines, and you want me to buy the garbage you're spewing? I just don't understand. Like I said, it's not just one person's fault. It's not blame. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around from day one all the way through the 20 years. But don't try to sell me a crock of crap and a bag of goods. Don't try to do it, because I ain't buying it. I just don't. It's just, you can't tell me the situation we're in right now was unavoidable. I'm not buying it anyway. That's why I didn't talk about it last week, because I didn't know about it yet. Anyway, needless to say, I've been following it rather closely over the last week. I will say that Hannah is slowly recovering. I don't think the recovery is quite at the pace that she would like. I know when you come as close as she did with those clots and everything, like we talked about last week, I guess you can't imagine a very quick recovery. But wow, but she's fine. She's been making headway each day. And her little guy Everett, you may remember our little grandson Everett, Hannah's son, was having a feeding tube in for the last at least 2 or 3 months, I think. Well, he got the feeding tube out. Feeding tube is out. He's gained 7, 8, 9 pounds, something like that. So I guess we're comfortable enough that he's eating to take the feeding tube out. But what a trooper he was to have this thing down his nose and to his stomach for that long and just go about his daily business, go to school like that and just deal with it. What a great little kid he is. But all right. So anyway, so Hannah's doing better. She's alive. That's the number one thing. Everett's doing better. I'm back on Facebook, kind of. So anyway, we'll see how things go. But hey, listen, what a troubling time it is for those that actually served in Afghanistan. Can you imagine what some of those folks and their families, especially the Gold Star families, are thinking? You know, it's natural that during any war or after any engagement, there's always, what did they die for? There's always the questioning. There's always, the second guessing. There's always that, for sure. But can you imagine the feeling that a Gold Star parent has right now for a son or daughter that died in Afghanistan or even Iraq, for that matter, or after coming back home? And you're thinking it's nothing but a political chess game to some, and our troops are chess pieces that are just disposable. And that's kind of how it feels. Can you imagine being one of them? I don't know. We owe them an apology at a minimum. It's just aggravating. Now, the company I work for, we've got about 8,000 employees. We're not very big. But we've got a pretty good community of veterans. I've talked about it often. We have a veterans employee resource group, and we do things together. And anyway, we have a whole division of our company that's focused on providing technology solutions to the federal government and to the military and whatnot. And we do a lot of business like that. And so we have a lot of veterans at our company. And to his credit, our CEO, one of the two founders of our company, 30-year-old company, sent out an email letter to the company on Friday, I think it was, acknowledging what some might be feeling. So we have a lot of young veterans, Iraqi and Afghanistan, war veterans, and he sent out a note acknowledging what some might be feeling, under the situation, and citing some potential resources to take advantage of. One is our veterans group, and then some others, and just a real heartfelt message. I've never seen a message like that come from him that had the appearance of being so heartfelt. And he's the one of the two founders of our company. So I said, well, hey, listen, let me just I'm just going to reply to him and thank him, and give him a little bit of insight about, from a parent. And I told him the story, and he emailed me back, and he's he was like, wow. He says, I just absolutely can't imagine, and this, that, and the other. And then he didn't ask me for any advice, but I gave him a full page of advice, and I won't tell you everything I told him, but essentially I said, hey, listen, what you did by proactively reaching out, to the veteran community at our company is you let them know that somebody cares. I told him straight up. I said, listen, none of us that are veterans feel like you owe us anything. None of us, we don't feel like the company owes us anything. We don't want to be treated any different than anybody else. I said, but what you did by sending out that proactive message acknowledging what you did, I said, you don't know the potential impact that could have on somebody. I said, honestly, it could change the course of somebody's life just by them knowing that somebody cares enough to reach out and to acknowledge it. And wow. And the email I got back from him, he was like, wow, I had no idea. He said, I appreciate you educating me on this stuff and this and that and the other. And anyway, it felt good to be able to, and I'm probably not the only one, but anyway, it was good. Hopefully other companies that have veterans working there will do the same thing. But anyway, yeah, but can you imagine? The first person I thought of was our friend Kelly Kowal that founded My Warriors Place, who lost her son Corey in Afghanistan. And I texted her during the middle of the week and said, hey, Kelly, I just wanted to check on you and let you know I'm thinking about you, see how you're doing. And she texted back and said, she was doing okay and she appreciated it. So, but can you imagine, how she must feel? All right. Well, let's see. Let's move on here and see if we've got anybody else has joined. I hope some other people will make it over here to the YouTube channel. If not, I'll post a link and folks can watch the recording on YouTube until I can get things straightened out. But wow, technology's crazy, isn't it? Well, what about the hat of the week? What about the hat of the week? Let me find my banner here. And, I always I'm a ball cap guy, if you hadn't noticed. And I always try to, and I was always told that if you wear hats, you'll go bald, but I've still got a full head of hair, me and my dad both. So I think that's okay. So I'm going to keep wearing them. But anyway, this is one of Zane's hats, and I cherish it. It's a True Spec. Some of you may know who True Spec is, but they're like a military clothing company, and a lot of Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans wear gear or carry gear by True Spec, and this is one of the hats that Zane used to wear. So in solidarity with all of those that have served in Afghanistan or they're now in harm's way that are wearing some True Spec item, that's my tribute to you. So the hat of the week is Zane's True Spec hat, which one day will belong to his son, Colton. All right, well, let's see. This week in military history, I found an interesting item on this week in military history that I'm going to have to do a little research on. It's got me intrigued. On August 17th of 1864, the Battle of Gainesville. Gainesville where? Gainesville, Florida. I didn't know that there was a battle in Gainesville, Florida. But sure enough, there was. Confederate forces defeated Union troops near Gainesville, Florida. I'm going to have to look it up now because I didn't think we had any skirmishes that far down, but evidently we did. So that's the only this week in military history item. So I will look that up. I'll research it and report back to you next week. If I have to, I'll call my buddy Chris Black because he's a Civil War authority. All right, let's see. What do we got here? I think I've got this right. Remember, I just got back on Facebook and I went combing. First place I went was Speaking of Zane to see what everybody's been up to as far as the cemetery, Veteran Cemetery Challenge or Think a Vet Challenge. And I found everybody's updates there, by the way. Thank you, everybody that keeps me up to speed on what you're doing there with those two challenges. And I saw that Daryl had at least one visit to Jefferson Barracks, just a very heartfelt visit. To see his wife Wanda yesterday, and then Jim up in Omaha, our friend Jim, who I served with up in Omaha, he had to make 2 trips past Omaha National Cemetery this week, and he stopped both times to see our buddy Todd Vanderwerken. So 2 visits there. for Jimbo. So that makes 3 visits for the week. It makes 466 visits total to 137 different cemeteries. Now, I did take a little time this afternoon to update the map. In fact, let me show you the map. Why don't I? While I'm thinking about it, that'd be a good idea. Let me share the map here. Right there. Okay, there we go. There we go. So this is the Speaking of Zane Veteran Cemetery Challenge map. Whoops, let me get back here. So I've updated the map this afternoon, and I'll give you this link. I need to give you this link on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, so you can go check it out. But each pin in the map reflects a visit to a new or to a specific cemetery, right? I don't put every visit on here. I put every cemetery on here. So there should be 137 pins in the map here. And I updated it this afternoon to include, let's see, all the way back to, I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cemeteries to the map today that we did not have on there. So I'll put this in the Speaking of Zane Facebook group if you guys want to take a look at it and see where all we have visited. But yeah, I'm kind of proud of that. You guys have done a great job there of visiting cemeteries and telling people about it. I talk about it all the time, what sacred ground they are. Actually, I think I need to update this because Lori actually made a visit. Hang on a second. So, Lori, tell me if I got this right in the chat. Let's see. Let me look at the chat here. Because Lori put some new flowers out. So I think I need to add a visit. So 467 visits, 4 visits for the week. And the map is updated. All right, bear with me while I do a little administrative work here. Okay, so let me. So Lori says the map should be bigger. Well, where I can make it bigger, I can go over here and I can. When you go to the map, you can actually zoom in and out. You can do whatever you want here to go see all the different locations. All right, let me look in the chat here and see if I have missed anything. Lori says our granddaughter Zaylee's got COVID. Yeah, kind of odd for a child to have it, but she does. Let's see. Yeah, Lori, I was wearing a hat when Lori met me. I probably was born with a hat on. Katie has a friend over there. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, Lori did make it. Okay, I'm just making my way through the chat here. Lori was on her way to see Zane when the whole thing happened with Hannah, and then she finally did get to go and put some nice fresh flowers, sort of fall-looking flowers out there, even though it's still warm. It can be 90s the next couple of days. But anyway, so you see that, Lori. You can make the map bigger or smaller or whatever there you need to do. So, okay. So that's the Veteran Cemetery Challenge, which I absolutely, if you can't tell, I love doing, and I love talking about. Now, how about the Think of Vet Challenge? I don't know if Aunt Paula's in there tonight or not, but if you're in there, Aunt Paula, put something in the chat so I can see you. But we had a bunch of thank yous this week, and remember, we're edging toward a milestone. a milestone. We started doing this in 2019. So 2 years, just over 2 years. We're just over 2 years into the Thank a Vet Challenge, because Lori and I were on our way back from visiting Charlotte at Texas A&M. I remember it in the airport, and that was in 2019 when she graduated. So it's been just over 2 years we've been doing the Thank a Vet Challenge, and we're about to reach a significant milestone. So let me just tally what I know about this week. I know you guys may have had some others, and just tell me on the fly if you do. But I thanked a Navy vet and an Air Force vet at Kroger yesterday. And then at the Lowe's, I thanked an Army vet. So I got 3 of the 4 branches, well, 5 branches yesterday. Aunt Paula had a good another good group. Let me just count hers off. She had a Desert Storm vet, 2 Vietnam vets, 2 Army vets, 2 Navy vets, 2 Air Force vets, and 3 Pasco County Sheriff's deputies, all in the same week. All different interactions in different locations, different times during the week. She had about a dozen, I guess. And that takes our total count for the week that I know up to 15, which takes our total count to 973. 973. So we need what? 25, 6, 27? 27 to hit the 1,000 thank you mark. We're going to celebrate. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to celebrate when we hit the 1,000 thank you mark. Amazing. Yeah, Aunt Paula has really helped us out there. She's retired after working for the Air Force for over 30 years, and she's got a lot of time on her hands, and anytime she's out and about, she is actively thanking people for their service. And Lori, she said in her post that she gave away some of those blue line cards that you sent to her, to the sheriff's deputy. So that's great. All right. So 973. So we need 25, 6, 27 more. And with Aunt Paula on our team, we're within striking distance. I'll tell you that for sure. For sure. Okay. So good update there on the Thank a Vet Challenge. And how about organizations? I told you I reached out to Kelly just to check on her. I mean, can you imagine being a Gold Star mom? Your son went over there and died, and we just sort of give up. I mean, they don't even want to say we gave up, but it sure feels like it. It sure feels like it. I'm not saying I think we should have been there. I think we should have gone in there when we did, kick some Royals' ass, and get out. We didn't even do that. Anyway, everybody has their opinion for sure. But can you imagine what a Gold Star parent is thinking right now? Anyway, me and some of my colleagues at work who live in the Tampa area are planning another, what we call at work, a day of caring, where we go out and help somewhere in the community. And we're going to do it at My Warriors Place. I got a lot of people lined up that are excited about it. So we'll be in touch with Kelly, and we'll plan a whole trip around that. And if we do it, I guess if we plan far enough ahead, Lori and I can stay there at My Warriors Place, or a mile on the way at Robert and Debbie's place. We'll see how things shake out. But I am excited about getting back down there to My Warriors Place. What great work she does. Speaking of another organization that does great work, I mentioned this organization a while back. There's an organization that's in the Raleigh, North Carolina area called Continuing the Mission, and they're all about the service dogs. And a colleague of mine at work, Joel, donated some money in honor of Zane earlier this year, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. Well, he did it again. He leads this organization that's kind of a study group in the Raleigh area that it's kind of work affiliated, but he had a goal set to reach 400 participants in this group. And so to highlight that they reached their 400 participant and to celebrate that, he donated $400 to continuing the mission in Zane's name. How about that? That's good work right there. That's somebody who's given, is a giver, not a taker. That's somebody, doing good work there. So thank you, Joel. I sure appreciate it to do something like that on in honor of Zane, using Zane's name, keeping Zane's name alive. Speaking of that, our friend Aaron up in Michigan, who has the Running to Honor organization. We've had Aaron on here to speak to us before, and we will again. We just ran the Running to Honor 5K. We walked it. We did very well. And anyway, he was out every 22nd day of the month, him and a buddy of his. They go out at an intersection there in Michigan, and they hold up a sign that says, if you were looking for a sign not to kill yourself, this is it. And they just make a point of highlighting, PTSD and veteran suicide, and they put out the posters of those who passed after coming home. And Zane's poster was out there again today in Aaron's video clip, which I forwarded over to the Speaking of Zane group, so you can go take a look at it. But what great work. I mean, very simple, very easy, but very meaningful. So Aaron, if you're watching, thank you for continuing not only to keep Zane as part of that group of men that you acknowledge, but doing that in the first place for all of those who have passed on the battlefield and after. And it's good work that you do, my friend. Which reminds me of Reach Across America coming up in December. Reach Across America, not too early to start planning for that. In fact, I got an email reminder from Lori and from to renew our intentions or something. But I couldn't help but think about their 2021 theme, and it's called "Live Up to Their Legacy." Live up to their legacy. That'll be the theme this year. I'm not sure. Let me put it this way. I'm sure that there are some that are not living up to their legacy. I'm not going to call out names, but there are some, many, who are not living up to their legacy, and shame on them. Shame on them. Okay, well, let's see. Sad part of the, speaking of Zane, I want to acknowledge a couple losses we had this week, and they both have to do with my friend Ken. And Ken, I'm so sorry. I was so sorry to read today about the loss that you've had of your Air Force teammate, Lieutenant Colonel retired Adrian Meadows. Adrian Meadows, God rest in peace. Adrian Meadows, may he rest in peace. And then Ken, just within days, lost a cousin of his who was also an Air Force vet, Rick Lindow. So Ken, our hearts go out to you for the loss of your cousin and your friend. Yeah, it's just, it's a terrible thing. I mean, it's inevitable as we age that that's going to continue to happen. But we're still young. I mean, even my friend Daryl there in his mid-70s, your mid-70s is like, it's the new 50s, right, Daryl? But anyway, when we lose someone like that, and you all remember, Todd and Jim and Amy and all of us that lost our friend, or Steve and Amy, Todd. We lost our friend Todd 2 years ago, and it was. It hurts. I mean, when you lose a grandparent, it's there's a certain expectation that you had there. It hurts, But when you lose a peer or someone your age, someone you served with, especially, it's a little more shocking, I think. I mean, it kind of shakes you into reality that we're not guaranteed tomorrow, And anyway, Ken, when I saw that this afternoon, I was just so, devastated for you there, and I just continue to think about you and especially their families, young men, really still young men. So, all right. Well, let's see. I have not had a chance, obviously, to pull any of Zane's Facebook memories, but I look forward to getting back into that. Now that I'm back on Facebook, at least I think I am. I'll find out when we finish the broadcast today. But God willing, we'll be back streaming to the Facebook pages next week, assuming that I am still connected. But we'll see how that goes. All right, folks. Well, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for sticking through all of the technical trouble, and thanks for being flexible enough to come over here to the YouTube channel. And I know it's a different look and feel for you. It's a little out of your routine there, those of you that primarily used Facebook to watch us here. But thank you all for being flexible. And hey, we'll see what the week holds in store. Do your buddy checks now more than ever. Check on your buddies, especially those that served in the war on terror. I mean, well, we treated our Vietnam vets like crap, didn't we? I say we, I mean our society, I guess, our government. But man, I sure hate to see what we're doing right now with these men and women that, they go over there, they give everything. And then at the end of it, it's like it was nothing but a big game, to some. But political, anyway. Oh, gosh. Well, have a good week. Make it count. There's still much more positive in the world. Keep those folks in mind over there at the airport and all of the Americans in Afghanistan. And tell you what, we should take some advice. Well, we'll see how things go. I'm sure that there's some chomping at the bit to go do what it takes. And I know that there are some folks, I think the Brits and the Germans and maybe even the French that are actually going to get their people. So we'll see how things go. But anyway, we'll see what we have to talk about next week. But thank you guys for being so flexible. Thanks for being so loyal to Speaking of Zane. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next Sunday night, God willing.